academic agent decided to cover our channel. And now I'm going to give you the ultimate form of meta. We've never done this before, but this is a picture in picture in picture, and I hope you enjoy it. So I don't know why my screen is going cuckoo caca right now, but hopefully this is not a result of what happens when I pull up this video. So here we go.
So let's have a watch of Revolutionary Change then. And if you haven't checked out this channel, you know, even though he's a leftist, it's kind of watchable, kind of low-key interesting channel.
Thank you for the kind words. And that is why Candace Owens has been doing a real service for so many of us out there that wish for those with a massive platform to use it. Those are two good-looking guys right there. It's blowing my mind. For genuine good in the world. We try to do the same here, but they have buried our channel in a corner. And that's why you look at the stream tonight and you see the numbers we're getting, even though these are very key talking points right now, very key to.
Yeah, no, that is interesting. That I noticed that this is a 125,000 subscriber channel, and you know, I recommend you check them out. And the views on this video were, I think, like around 1,000, and it'd been out a day or so. He usually does better numbers than that, so interesting. But this is it. This is what I love. Look, she's in a frame, he's in a frame, I'm in a frame.
And now you're in a frame in my frame. So that's 4 frames. That's a lot. Welcome to our version of Inception. Hope you like it.
The whole video now is 3 multiple mirrors. So I'm all about that meta, the meta of the meta.
Let's not forget, little Ben in the Daily Wire gave a $1 million check to TPUSA the day after Charlie's assassination.
That is so dark, isn't it? Straight in there. The guy has just been shot. Straight in there with $1 million. Now you could say, oh, well, this was for charity. It's for charity, right? This was a good cause, the grieving widow. It's so naked and transparent. It's almost insulting. So I'm actually glad, as much shit as Candace Owens gets, and I'm not a big Candace fan. You know, I'm not like, I didn't really watch Oprah Winfrey or stuff like that, so I don't really watch Candace Owens. It always strikes me as kind of like political Oprah or something like this. But if she's done any good, it is in absolutely wrecking this grift, absolutely destroying the grift that Shapiro and Erica Kirk and the others wanted to get going, how they wanted to use Turning Point USA. It has been destroyed. He's right about this, and I'm kind of glad about it.
And lo and behold, they became, I mean, they were always, in the last several years, as influential amongst the youth in the Christian Zionist movement as you could possibly imagine. But now it became 24/7 as a result of them taking the capital directly from the Israel lobby, because they understood, well, we have a choice. We can slowly watch this thing morph down into something much more regional and small, or we can attempt to keep our empire going by taking all of the Israel lobby money we can get our filthy, dirty, corrupt, possibly murderous hands on. And so they decided, yeah, that was worth it.
I mean, if he really is being shadow banned, it's probably because he's a little bit no holds barred, as we've seen on this video. But you know, and suppression is real. It is real.
You're damn right it's real, and that's why we're saying what we're saying. That's why we have to say what we're saying. If we don't, then why are we doing this? I'm talking to myself in the past tense. I have traveled backwards through time to let myself know that I am being used in a metaverse capacity by this bloke. And I am responding to this bloke, responding to me, responding to Candace, responding to Erica. Did you catch all that? Yeah, well, Rach, let's get him on. I'm standing. We'll finish it up. Oh, I think that's it. He's in the UK. Yes, he is in the UK. As we've said, I mean, look, it's kind of like with the Tabernacle. You know, he goes on really late, and it makes sense, you know, to do these things at a time that makes sense for them. But that's the thing about doing a live stream. If we pre-record, it's easier to talk with people around the world. And there are times where we would make exceptions. Like if Rania Kalik was available in Lebanon, we would say, okay, whenever, you just let us know. And then there are other times where, you know, we have to do this because we don't have any other choice. Or we say, it's our show, this is when we do it. And, you know, we do our business that way. It may not be ideal, but it is what it is. That is Hotel Lobby Me. That's when I was in California. And there was another time when I was in Las Vegas. I'm going to be traveling a lot this next month, 6 weeks. So you'll be seeing me hopping around. I'll be in New Jersey very soon. I will be doing how many shows in Jersey? I will be doing Thursday and Saturday. Thursday and Saturday, I will be live from New Jersey. And there will be more traveling to come. But that was an interesting example of, you know, why we address the significance of not just what Candace has been covering, but also the significance of the Turning Point USA, what they've been up to. And it goes without saying that whenever there is a temporal prime directive, I will say this. I am going to continue to invoke the name Little Ben Shapiro as early and as often as I can. Because that was the consensus of what the entire clip was about. His funding through the Daily Wire of Turning Point USA. But now both organizations are falling apart. And unfortunately, little Ben is not having the best time right now. Apparently, things are really going down in a negative way. So here he is bitching about it.
Territorial grievance mongering is a sexy, sexy idea. It is. It's great. Because it means that you're never responsible for your own actions. It means that your life sucks and you're single and you're in your mom's basement and you're fat and all these things. But there's nothing you can do about that because of the Jews. Right? Your incurable gingivitis is because of Bibi Netanyahu. And if you watch enough hours of Nick Fuentes, you know, talking about cat boys or whatnot, then eventually you'll end up more successful, or at least you'll feel better about yourself. And to a lot of people, again, it's not a left-wing, right-wing thing. It's just it's an envy thing. You know, when people feel bad about their lives, they look for a place to blame. And when there's a conspiratorial group of people with a large platform who are going to give you a place to blame, then it's easy to go there.
As if he could not fulfill every negative stereotype about Jews in less than a minute, he made sure to get it in there. So great job, Benny. You really gave it your all to make sure that if there was any doubt that people hate Jews because of the fact that you believe that as Zionists, you are superior to everyone else, and everyone should just cope with the fact that you have rigged our economy, you have rigged our political arena, you have rigged the global system. But everyone should just cope and accept. Or scapegoat, right? Scapegoat. No. Fact is, you are a genocidal maniac. You're an overcompensator. I don't know what the hell that thing is on your face, but it ain't a beard. It looks like it was pasted on. Same with your eyebrows. Trying to make yourself look like you hit puberty when clearly you haven't, because your voice still can't get above the second or third decibel. And yet, despite all the money and power that you've enjoyed over the past decade plus, you're still a small little man who likes to get punched in the face by his own punching bag. Something along those lines. But oh boy, he ain't done.
I agree with you, but I also, again, I want to say that there is some truth to what happened to the white male in America, which is that...
Oh, of course, this wouldn't succeed if you didn't have a grain of truth to build upon. No conspiracy theory can succeed without some tiny grain of truth, however tiny. The idea on sort of the woke right is that white male Christians were uniquely put upon in the Obama and Biden era. And there's truth to that. That's true. But then the sort of effect of that was to claim that they're incessantly put upon and that all the systems of American society are built against them. And the people who benefit from those systems are the people who created those systems in order to hurt white males. And that's not true. There are specific policies that have been done away with in large part by the Trump administration that did target white Christian males. But the idea that has been inculcated by the woke right in the same way, and this is why James calls it the woke right as opposed to the woke left, is because the basic idea of the woke left is all the systems of America are inherently corrupt and terrible, and all of your personal problems can be attributed to the people who succeed in the system. So things like private property or the Constitution or free speech, those are all merely guises for political power being utilized by venal people to lie to you.
It has been proven more often than not that it pays to be Jewish in the United States, especially if you're connected. And if you're Zionist, oh boy, are you in a good position. You see, ladies and gentlemen, there's a thing called the banking system. And in the banking system, it pays to be of a certain makeup. And when you are of a certain makeup, there are certain advantages that you are afforded, like loans, like small business opportunities, investment opportunities that very few others ever hear about or know about. And yet you often wonder, how is it that certain communities just can never get out of their own way and other communities always succeed? And when you talk about the white male in the United States, the white Christian male, as you're putting it, no, you see, little Ben Shapiro, this is the reality of the system that is here today. You see, men in particular have a certain drive to succeed. And one of the things that ultimately gets to the psyche of a man, let's say a white man, is that not only is he not able to succeed within this broken, rigged, capitalist system that we're under, but that he is in no way, shape, or form ever going to amount to anything economically like his father or perhaps even his grandfather were able to achieve. And that is a burden that no matter what culture you come from is often seen as a negative. It is often seen as a reason to look at yourself in a negative light. It's considered a character flaw. You're just not working hard enough. You didn't try hard enough. You didn't dig deep enough. And yet nobody wants to talk about the real fundamental foundational problems within our economic and political system. Sure as hell ain't going to hear it from this piece of shit. Why would he ever say it? He's benefited from the broken system. The guy lives in a multi-million-dollar home in Boca Raton, Florida. He is connected to the highest echelons of our government here and in Tel Aviv. He hates you more than you can possibly imagine. Not just because you could probably screw his wife better than he can, but because he is somebody who fancies himself as some type of a man with masculinity in his blood, and he doesn't have any. But he's not a homosexual. He's not a, he's a guy with small dick energy. He is an overcompensator. You know how woke liberals are overcompensators? Well, this Zionist douchebag is an overcompensator if there ever was one. He is thumbing the eye of each and every one of us as we struggle to live in this system. And he's living high on that hog. And yet, he ain't stopping. You know why he's not stopping? Because he's losing. He's losing. They're all losing. It doesn't matter that Thomas Massie was defeated. If anything, it just proves our point. It proves how far they have to go to maintain their fiefdom, a fiefdom that's dying. And it's not dying fast enough. The good news is Shapiro can only lose people. He can't gain more. This twit of a person, as long as he's talking, will continue to bleed support, continue to bleed money, continue to bleed influence. But as I said, he ain't done.
And create false consciousness in you. And it's very easy to just, say the same thing about Jews. That's why he calls it again, it's the term that he uses is totally correct.
Here's another question for you, again, talking about the woke right, but something even more sinister. People like Megyn Kelly. Another one that I couldn't foresee. It's and it really was Tucker Carlson who framed this. Well, I'm just asking a question. Right? And then what happened was she started saying things like, "I can't even be critical of Israel."
Well, that's the get out of jail free card. You understand?
All right. So can you explain that?
Okay. So I can't even be critical of Israel is the get out of jail free card online. So to take the example of Megyn Kelly. So Megyn, you may remember that Megyn and I are in a bit of a tiff right now.
I can't punch little Ben Shapiro in the face, so I will let the punching bag do it for me.
Think you're better than me, Paul? You think you're hanging here all day, you're higher than me, you're better than me? Yeah, well, I don't miss you. You're not. I'm a father. I can think that you are not better than me at all. Yeah, I'll teach you.
You have to understand, I'm in a little bit of a tiff right now. A little bit of a tiff with Megyn Kelly. Did you hear what she said about me? Oh my God. Totally disrespectful. That blonde bimbo. How dare she talk bad about me, little Ben Shapiro? He may be on the conservative side of politics, but he's part of that neoliberal class of people. He's part of that class. That's why he goes to these events. That's why he's invited. The well-read Jewish Zionist, always welcome. Always. No matter where you are on the political spectrum, always welcome. They love Ben. Brett Stevens of the New York Times, I bet you they go out together. He's got more to say.
This tiff emerged not because of Israel, having nothing to do with Israel. This tiff emerged because Megyn Kelly decided that she would not under any circumstances say a negative word about Candace Owens, slandering the wife of a dead man, Charlie Kirk. That is why this happened. Okay, I remember it because I was there. Right? We were on a stage, and this literally came up, and we were talking about Tucker Carlson and Tucker Carlson's insane conspiracism, and she was asking why I couldn't be friends with Tucker, and I said I'd be happy to go fishing with Tucker, but that has nothing to do with whether he is right or wrong on principle. He's wrong on principle, and he says evil things. And I don't understand why you won't criticize him, even if you're friends with him, because that's what friendship very often is actually course-correcting people. And then the question of Candace Owens came up, and I said to her, I don't understand. You say you're not the mother of the internet. I mean, she comments on everything. Why will you not comment on the slander of Erica Kirk by Candace Owens? And for the crime of me mentioning that, apparently the idea is that I only said that because I'm an Israel firster, and why can't she be critical of Israel? You may notice that in that entire narrative, I never brought up Israel. Literally not once.
You don't need to. Anyone who is nuanced in political speak understands what your points are, what you're getting at, and who you support. And your loyalty, 1,000%, is for the state of Israel. On top of everything else, you're a joke. You're annoying. You kvetch 24/7 like a woman who's on her period. Sorry, ladies. But you are a little bitch who doesn't even look old enough to shave. I mean, congratulations on the youth. Maybe you're drinking children's blood. I don't know. But whatever you're doing, I would be looking into it. As I said, person who doesn't get above a certain decibel level where they're trying to project. Like I said, maybe, just maybe, tides are turning. I'd like to believe they are. And so, will Ben continue to spiral? I hope so.
This is the get out of jail free. It's the online get out of jail free card for retards. Let me be clear. This is a retarded idea. When I spoke at TPUSA, making the same point repeatedly, I did not mention Israel one time in that speech. One time. And the only person who I referred to as anti-Semitic was Nick Fuentes, a self-described anti-Semite. And the critique of me by Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson and others was, I only did it because of Israel. Understand the reason they're doing that is to misdirect away from their lack of basic moral character and basic moral sense. And of course, to not so subtly imply that the only thing that I care about in the world is Israel, because I'm an Israel firster with dual loyalty and all the usual tropes.
I see you're kind of tired and over it.
It's exhausting to have to, again, it's, you know, I have 4 kids going on 5. And if my fat and all these things.
I truly feel terrible for his kids because they're not asking for it, but they will be 5 psychos in training.
Tropes.
I see you're kind of tired and over it.
Half-year-old continuously insists that candy is a vegetable. And I have to explain over and over and over that candy is not, in fact, a vegetable and does not count as a vegetable. At a certain point, I get tired because it's just a delusional idea. It's stupid. But he's 2.5, and so it's still kind of cute. When you are 55 years old, as Megyn Kelly is, it's a little less cute. When you are Tucker Carlson, and you have been on TV almost as long as I've been alive, then it starts to become a little bit less entertaining and more annoying, actually. And honestly, I have to say, my annoyance has grown with the people who sort of watch this trash and then treat it as though it is worthy of some sort of respect. Because if you can't see through the game, I'm afraid you're the mark.
Well, last I checked, you are losing support, bleeding support, in a substantial way. Maybe you should advise Debbie Wasserman Schultz in her congressional race. You are, in fact, very close to District 20 now, aren't you, little Ben? Make a hell of a team. But I would tell you, as I look to what the future of this country is heading towards, and it's heading towards an interesting moment. Jen and I have often said that the future of this country, if it is going to get out from under the boot of the Zionist cause, of this broken economic and political system, it is going to come from an America First movement led by those that are armed.